Hey you, do you remember Skylanders?
Okay, let's do this one last time. The year is 2016 and the Toys to Life market is basically a dusty ass crack. At this point, people's interests have moved into other genres of gaming like Dark Souls 3 Satas, Pokemon Go bandwagoners, and Overwatch cronies. I know because I was one of them. So within this bakery of Toys for Life, it really wasn't a hot topic as it was 5 years ago. Even though Skylanders has ended their 3-year battle with Disney Infinity, their new competitors LEGO Dimensions and Amiibo are thriving. The reason being is how Legos are timeless collectibles that anyone would be interested to buy, and Amiibo can let you play Animal Crossing Mario Party.
Holy f***, it's Rosetto! Woo!
Either way, Skylanders was basically dead in the water from previously bad choices, especially since their recent installment Superchargers was their final push to be relevant once again. Well, oopsies, I don't think that one worked. And it's a bummer as Superchargers was an amazing game that I feel deserves more love today, yet I understand how its gimmick was unoriginal that turned off many fans and even newcomers to the series. Skylanders were in a rut, and at least they did all the achievements with the flops. They created a new genre of gaming and also progressively destroyed that new genre of gaming, like the Roman Empire. Either way, it was over and it was time for Skylanders to finally be put to rest.
You're trying to crawl away. Bring me that gas.
Now talk about a stroke in Grandpa's nuts. Skylanders decided to do one last fucking game in 2016 like the goddamn madmen they are.
Sorry guys, I can't get up by the weight of my titanium nuts.
Thus, Skylanders Imaginators was born, and oh my god, I am baffled by this decision. Imaginators was developed by Toys for Bob after the release of Trap Team, as Activision had 2 teams working on Skylanders at this point, with Vicarious Visions in Swap Force and Superchargers, and now TFB for Imaginators, as it gave each team a little more wiggle room to work on the games. Only because at this point the Toys for Life genre was abysmal, so Activision basically gave TFB an ultimatum that if Imaginators didn't succeed exponentially, they are pulling the plug.
Oh god, the oopsies became 2 of a daisy and now we have to commit to this. You can have the IQ of a french fry and still understand that Skylanders Imaginators left a real big smudge on the Skylanders series as a whole, because fans did not enjoy this one.
Whenever it's brought up, there isn't much highs compared to the lows, with a majority of fans criticizing Imaginators with mainly complaints about the shortness of it and microtransactions. Well, I guess you could say one problem went away.
For this video, I'm not going to do some fancy YouTube clickbait title like, is Imaginators the best game in the series, or you don't understand Imaginators so you're a moronic maroon, or did Master Eon fuck? For the final Skylanders game in the series, I'm more genuinely curious if Skylanders Imaginators was good. You know, I don't really care of some specific topic on this because I just want to see if the Skylanders series that I love ended with a bang or a flicker. So join me one last time into the Skylands as I hold Skylanders Imaginator like the 10 Commandments to see how did the final game in the series do. Was it good, was it bad, or was it mediocre? We won't find out until we see. Also, again, I am reviewing the Wii U version for this video. I did try to review the Xbox One version, and I actually got the Portal this time, but it turns out that the disc I bought was not good, and it wouldn't download. So, once again,
The story begins with Spyro and Stealth Elf having some good old fun at the academy until suddenly a strange monster ransacks the library and escapes with a book. So the senseis jump into the fray, probably just diddling in the back or something. So now Spyro follows the monster to discover that Chaos sent it to steal the book as it was a Doomlander he created using mind magic. And wow, they really just shot this one out of the ass, huh? So the gimmick of mind magic is shoehorned in as its ability to create anything from one's mind that the ancients had reign of. So Chaos this time is making it his goal to create the strongest Doomlander as our fellow Skylanders counter his Monster of the Week stick. But Chaos is not alone, as he meets Brain, who helps Chaos conjure up stronger foes to his plans of world domination, that he then flips sides last minute because he realized Chaos has a baby brain and Skylanders are smarter.
Okay, like, who let their 5-year-old write this, and why does this horse look like a pair of dick and balls?
Yeah, the story is dumb. I mean, it's clear that they didn't have a full team for the plot, so they rushed through things faster than a crack addict with a pixie stick. And as much as I dislike how fast they just threw Chaos into the baddie seat, I actually enjoyed the aspect of previous Skylanders taking the lead on the plot. Never has any of these games really given much spotlight on the Skylanders being relevant in the plot, aside from a weapon of mass genocide. So seeing the OG characters like Jetvac being a goofy heroic figure, Eruptor having 2 lava zones, and Stealth Elf just being a normal non-edgy girl was pretty cool. I'm surprised it took them this long to make Skylanders a progressive figure in the series. Like, they really wanted to change the plot to make a real big difference for like the last hurrah. Fuck, it's a promotion for Skylanders Academy, isn't it?
Alright, jagoffs.
Yeah, at the time, Skylanders just released a Netflix show. So having the relevant Skylanders be the plot driver was most likely due to being something different and also get people to watch the show. And I'm for the comedy, like a couple of jokes got a chuckle out of me.
You're the fool this time, Chaos. It was a trick, and you fell for it.
Well, you know something, jerkbag? I've got some shocking news for you, too. I'm the one who stole your lunch earlier.
Chaos!
Now when it comes to the other characters, there really isn't much to say. Chaos is Chaos, like he always has been. Glumshakes has no point in this plot, even though they were building him up as a character the last 3 installments. All the OG friends like Callie, Hugo, and even Flynn has hardly any involvement in the stories. That is bonkers that they didn't use Flynn as much, since he has always been relevant in some way. And Hugo, I'm not surprised, as I'm numb to it. Yet aside from the Skylanders, the only 2 new characters they made relevant to the story is a brain and a bird.
Look, I am a simple man with simple needs. I look at the bird, I look at the brain, and I go, ha ha ha, ah ha, ah ha ha, ah ha.
Now when it comes to the new gimmick Skylanders, that is where the Senseis come in, and I gotta say, they're pretty good. The Senseis are the gimmick landers of the game, and a majority of them are very creative with gameplay that are unique variations of carnage. What's neat too is half of them are brought back villains that now have morphed into fully fledged Skylanders with minor changes, like Blastertron now using a sword, Graveclawber being a water element versus his ground element, and Chompy Mage straight up ditches magic for a gun.
I summon Wizard Ice. Oh, I summon Wizard Fire. Oh, I summon Wizard Thunder. Oh, Wizard Gun. No more.
The Senseis are honestly some of the best Skylanders I've seen in the series that got me engaged to further play all of them rather than select my favorite little ducklings. What's also cool is how the Senseis aren't really that important of a gimmick, as they aren't needed for everything. Aside for unlocking elemental levels that I will get into later, ringing gongs for mini arena fights, and a couple of little benefits for the Imaginators, they are mainly like any other Skylander within the game with a gimmick along the lines of giants. The only big factor Senseis play is the ability to use a special move called Sky Chi that are ultimate attacks you build up on a meter to then unleash when you need that cold hard damage. The Sky Chi moves are pretty fun to use as they vary from each character, and to unlock them you have to find the character weapon specific shrine within a level with a cool little cutscene added. The only times I've ever used the Sky Chi move was when I was getting overrun or I needed some damage that I feel fills the role it was meant for. But I'm more impressed by the fact that it took them this fucking long to include a new move.
Oh my god, we're doing foreplay now.
I swear, I can never get the full read on what was the plan, as TFE thought this last hurrah would be the best time to add a new additional gameplay mechanic that would be great to the core of Skylanders. What's weird too is the timing, as 3 years prior Swap Force added jumping like this was some 3-year tradition to do something new to Skylanders.
Everybody, round of applause. We did it, we did it. We made a new move. Players are having more interactive gameplay now. I mean, all I can see is us just keep going up, This is gonna be awesome, guys. Let's keep doing this and hitting the iron when it's hot. All right, everybody, we did it again. We made another move. I'm hearing the news articles. I'm hearing the hype. We're gonna do great, and I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I could see us doing this for another 3 years.
But the senseis are not the only gimmick to the Imaginators, as it's in the literal name.
Now, these little trinkets are the main gimmick to Skylanders Imaginators, as these give you the ability to make your own OC Skylander in the world of Skylands. Wait, Sonic did this with Sonic Forces, and if I'm correct, the amount of porn that was made of them was immeasurable. Oh no, what beast have we unleashed?
The creation process to Imaginators is pretty legit, as it first starts with the choice of a battle class that then each class holds their own respected stats, such as a bazooka class that focuses on heavy damage from far away with broken fire rate. Sorry guys, I accidentally gorilla glued my hand to the trigger. Then you have bowslingers, a more tame fire rate but great for AoE damage. Brawlers are the rough and tough fighters that are all about strength and beating the shit out of enemies like a ketchup bottle. Knights are the medium class that is great for people who enjoy a moderate combo style of gameplay. Ninjas are stubby little bastards that are all about swift damage like an angry miniature citizen with a spork. Quickshots are your gunner class with a focus on shooting, like a lot. Sentinels are aerobic fighters that control a solid area with damage and can put the Circus du Soleil actors to shit. Smashers are heavy tanks that fuck enemies up. Sorcerers are spellcasters that control the playing field with unique spells, and swashbucklers adopted a guerrilla British warfare by chucking their knives. There's also the element of the core that gives a unique set of moves that the Imaginator will have that are both new and some even rebranded moves of previous Skylanders. So all in all, these classes do offer variations, as you can play around with your Imaginator's moveset to fit a style you like. So I was out here creating Imaginators with movesets that I could wombo combo into. Plus, the Imaginators also get access to Sky Chi moves that the real big difference for them is that they don't have to use a meter and can just use it whenever they want. But for those who are fans that spend 3 hours in character creations, Skylanders Imaginators got you covered with the amount of customization you can do. I mean, this shit is oddly complex with sizing, body parts, and even gear that changes your stats.
After 4 hours, 28 minutes, and 2 intense urine breaks, I have crafted the perfect character. Shit, he's ugly.
I personally love this because the Imaginators are the best part of the game, because TFB crafted this gimmick so well that lets players run free with creativity and destruction. But the only downside to the Imaginators is the process of getting Imaginite chests and then the class commitment. Imaginite chests are where you get the unlockables for Imaginators, and they are plentiful until you beat the game, and now it's time to get that gamer lean for the grind. Especially when these chests can hold out on a specific part you need to fill out a full set that will unlock the final piece. This issue is pretty minor in all honesty, but what isn't excusable is the weapon class commitment. That is utter bullshit. See, because each core element holds a specific moveset to itself when you choose a battle class, and then you can find a way to splice the two into a moveset that mixes well like High C and Sprite. But of course, not all battle classes work well with the elemental moves like Dr. Pepper and dog shit. So of course you would want to redo your Imaginator and choose a class more appropriate.
Sorry guys, I tried to complain about this, but all they mailed me was this.
So due to the core limitations, when you choose a battle class, that core is now permanently stuck to that class. That ruins a lot of experimentation when you have to commit hard on what you want. What's worse though is how now when you buy cores from resellers, there's a gamble if the core was used or not.
Oh god, I'm surrounded by whores.
But let's see how the previous Skylanders hold up. I mean, they basically built this game. Like Spyro Adventure Skylanders are... Well, giants will strut their damage with their big... Yeah, okay. I mean, we got Swap Force with their 2-element gimmick that offers destructive game. God. Oh, at least we have Trap Heroes that got their... God... Well, Superchargers were pretty cool with their creative gimmick. Honestly, it's abysmal to talk about previous Skylanders and Imaginators because they hold no candle when fighting enemies in the game, as the balancing was completely favoring Senseis and Imaginators.
And this is how racism began.
And that's my YouTuber tie-in to the difficulty of Imaginators, because this game is actually pretty hard at times with its level design, enemies, and boss fights. A majority of levels have animated themes with creative gameplay gimmicks like Jetpack's Airshop Dock with Robo Jetpacks helping you, to even Pop Fizz Soda Factory with a gimmick like Wellican Village as you jump between normal and soda mode. They even made full levels for elemental gates that yes, forces you to get every element, but at least you can get more bang for your buck than a dinky challenge. I personally enjoyed the levels in Imaginators, and I felt like they were a challenge with exploration and combat, because these enemies are not screwing around. Like, half of the enemies in this game are straight up gunning for your nuts. So because of this, you have to take careful precaution in combat to defeat the horde, or you slam that Sky Chi move and watch the bodies hit the floor.
While you were studying the blade for 8 years perfecting that craft, I, on the other hand, took a 2-hour online gun course.
That also follows into the boss fights as you face against Chaos's Doomlanders that are based on weapon classes. A majority of them are easy peasy, especially if you use Imaginator, as Senseis rarely make a dent in them. And this goes for Chaos's fight, cause bro went Super Saiyan and uses the Doomlanders as his attack. That is so freaking sick. This creative fiasco of a fight is off the charts, and I applaud them for doing something so outlandish for the sake of crazy bullshittery.
How f***ing elaborate do we have to make this fight? Get down here!
Yet when it comes to the post-game content, it's pretty mediocre. First, you can travel across the world map to find hidden goodies. You can also take challenges by brain to do what I wish were legit levels, as Imaginators is a bit on the shorter side. But you can hit up the arena that is bare bones with no challenges, but the fact that it's back is all that matters to me. There's also racing from Superchargers that functions the same way that it did last generation, but now you can use Imaginators to drive the cars, so it's a pretty cool add-on. Yet it feels kinda like they just had it lying around and they just didn't know what to do with it.
Open your hands up, son. That's a little version of me, Alan. I want you to have it.
I don't really want this.
I mean, I'll take it if you don't want it, Alan.
And lastly, the DLC levels are a whopping 5 in total, 2 of which got physical figures and 3 were locked to having a specific Skylander, that being Robo, Wildstorm, and holy shit, it's the woo meme guy from 2016. The biggest cameo Imaginators got was the inclusion of Crash McFuckingCoot, since Spyro's Adventures got, you know, Cinder as a cameo. Then Superchargers got 2 big league Nintendo heads with DK and Bowser. So of course Activision allowed TFB to get one more powerhouse of an IP for Imaginators, and they landed on Crash and Neo Cortex. That this inclusion was either a Crash fan's dream or a perpetual nightmare. Oh, never mind, they liked it. Oh, and they even said it was expensive too. Huh, lol. Since Crash was in this state of limbo, this was the only Crash content before the Crash Insane Trilogy remake, so it was pretty scary for fans as they thought Crash was going to fall into a Skylanders rut as Spyro did, but for what they crafted for Crash, he's actually a pretty legit character, having a moveset based off of his gameplay from his past. But Neo Cortex is ass mulch. See, where Crash got a lot of love, Cortex didn't in my opinion, thus he must sit at the kids table for Thanksgiving. Yet you do get a whole level Wampa Islands when you put them in the game that has nods to the Crash Bandicoot series. I'm not the biggest Crash fan as I haven't played the series yet. I just bought the trilogy when it was on sale and I left that in the dusty catacombs of my Xbox download list. But I do enjoy Crash as a character, so as a new fan, this iteration of him wasn't that bad. I just can't get over how trash Neo Cortex was. What the hell happened here?
Fish?
So let's finally talk about the elephant in the room. And please, I've been calling the cops on this for like the last couple of days because all it does is stare at me while I sleep and drink my Diet Pepsi. Is Skylanders Imaginators truly that bad of a game? And I will say, it does have a couple of complications that garners that bad reputation it has. But personally, to me, I didn't really see this game as that big of a problem. I actually kind of like it.
As I mentioned, the short story and the permanent core crystals are the problems that plague Skylanders Imaginators, making it feel like that slap-chopped hurrah.
Let's be honest, the big omen that this wasn't going to be the best Skylanders game is the fact that they repurposed like the backlog of Swap Force portals.
When it comes to my personal complaints though, the story is blander than a white woman's Instagram. Core crystals being permanent to a battle class kills a creative element. A difficulty spike that only caters to the new Skylanders is stupid when you have old ones of course, and a short adventure as a whole were my biggest humps. Many Skylanders fans were upset by this, and that is how Imaginators garnered its reputation. Yet I can excuse all of these issues and still have fun for what there is if the price to collect these damn figures weren't the price for a black market kidney.
I'm out of kidneys, but do you take cash by any chance? Maybe even credit? What about dogs?
Skylanders Imaginators to me suffers most by the collecting value, as a majority of these figures are a minimum of $30 going all the way to $400. Now this is a product of the sales issues that occurred during the time as stores weren't pushing Skylanders as they used to. And I remember seeing Imaginators in like the tightest corners of a Target with the whole stand being full because no one was buying them. But this led to Imaginators being the worst game to collect for to this day, as you have to be pretty lucky to stumble upon some of them for an affordable price. That is just getting worse as the prices on the dummy rare ones like Robo, Wildstorm, and Chompy Mage are just gonna get worse and worse with time. And the collecting value Skylanders Imaginators hold is going to be abysmal, as old fans to newcomers are most likely going to skip this game since it's too costly to play. But there is a silver lining.
Hello everybody, it is I, SBR, your teacher for the day, and I'm going to show you a magical, funny little acronym called NFC. You're wondering, what does NFC stand for? Well, I'll tell you. It stands for Now Fart Come. Well, I hope you take this lesson to the heart and have a wonderful day. Goodbye. 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 Goodbye.
So if you do a little searching on Now Fart Come and follow a set of directions, you too can be an owner of any Skylander. Personally, I don't condone this.
I always prefer the actual figure to, get that authentic Skylander experience. And then I'll deal with the spacing later. Moving out is going to be a bitch.
Yet Imaginators really pushed me to a degree where I just couldn't purchase every figure as I tried for the review. And logically, I had to sit there and make sure Chompy Mage wasn't more important than gas and food. God, I hate responsibilities. So there are workarounds, and I say that if you're interested in playing Skylanders Imaginators on a budget, there is a solution. Just be careful.
I may be in prison for 10 years, but at least I still have my Chompy Mage card. So who's the real loser?
Skylanders Imaginators isn't horrendous, but it's not amazing, as it holds the values I enjoy with of course a handful of personal hiccups. But it was clear we couldn't excuse Imaginators for the mistakes it had, and it makes sense how TFB's final hurrah was not enough to save the series. Like I said earlier in the review, I'm not going to stand on a soapbox and point out some big flaw on Imaginators. I think this game already has a lot of diversion on it, and I just wanted to see the hubbub on it. And I can proudly say both sides are right, and that's okay because in the end it's a fun Skylanders game, and if you personally don't like it, that's all good. Your opinion isn't invalid, and for the people who are on edge about it, I would just say to play Imaginators and build your own opinion, because in the end of the day, it's your experience. But sadly, Imaginators will live in the series as a game fans will either play or skip because they know Swap Force was the peak of the series. Like really, I'm being honest with you, you have to play Swap Force. You have to play Swap Force. It's the best game in the series. It will literally blow your nuts off. That's how amazing it is. Okay, now I'll fade to dark.
Hi guys. You're probably wondering, why isn't this video over? He basically talked about all of Skylanders Imaginators. And I understand, because editing this is going to be tiring.
But I want to take a moment to look across the series as we've reached the finish line. To think this Goliath of a series all started with humble beginnings, with Toys for Bob wanting to make a Spyro game that turned into a monstrous genre of Toys for Life with Spyro's Adventure that made an impact in many people's lives, that only got better when Giants released that took the Skylanders series up a notch by crafting a more whimsical adventure accompanied by fun creative gameplay. And yeah, a lot of problems started here that will soon snowball, yet Giants was an important game to many, and especially to me as a kid. Yet when Swap Force released, that was when fans got divided, as it was honestly one of the best games in the series and one that I recommend to anyone because of how great it was. But the competition arose in the Mask of a Mouse that then created more issues for the Toys for Life series. So when Skylanders Trap Team came out onto scene, this was the pinnacle for many fans, and it was a great game that has a gimmick like no other, but it was very expensive to play. That really put the nail in the coffin for the Skylanders series. That just trailed on to the poor reception on Superchargers that is the black sheep in the series, being the game that is crazy fun yet shackled by the boring gimmick and poor reception. And now we've come to Imaginators, the air bud of the series, that finished in a bang with an amazing gimmick and Skylanders, yet it was too late to save anything as TFB had to truly close shop on this little shop of horrors that went on for far too long. Yet even though every game had a flaw, there was one exceptional value they all held. They were fun. Definitely every Skylanders game had its point of contention, but I always saw an element of fun with them.
And not only was Skylanders a roller coaster in its own history, but my own review series on this was a roller coaster, as my own personal life went through many ups and downs within this year and a half of talking about Skylanders. That is pretty crazy, I would say. I know I haven't had many opportunities to open up and talk more personally on my channel, just because I don't do a lot of that type of content. But since we're at the very end of Skylanders, I do want to take a moment to just kind of talk about my personal experiences that have been occurring and some of the big events that happened that were really prolific in this timeline. First was how Skylanders was even the reason I got back into making YouTube reviews. I'll be honest, I was starting to give up on game reviews because I put so much effort into them, and the time it takes to make one and seeing the results kind of did eat at me a little, but I did lose that kind of charm in them, and I just took a break trying to focus on other things. Yet when I saw Skylanders Spyro's Adventure at like a video game mom and pop shop, things just clicked. And I was like, I need to talk about this game. And when I talked about the first game, I thought, now I need to talk about the second, and the third, and the fourth, and the fifth, and now the sixth. And this series of games literally rekindled that fire in me of making game reviews. And it like shocked me. I was like, why did Toys do this? Like, how did the Toys for Life series get me to make game reviews again? And yet it just did. And it was the best thing I could have ever asked for, because I probably would have given up on game reviews. Another thing that happened in the background during these reviews was probably hitting something I thought I never was going to, and that was getting 1K, but not only 1K, but freaking 2K subs on my channel. You guys, what the hell? Thank you so much. I mean, one of my biggest dreams was to have 1,000 subscribers, but to be able to officially say I got 1 and 2.5 at this moment, it's crazy. It's literally crazy. The day it happened, I woke up like, "Boo." And that's all thanks to the support of you guys, the people that saw my channel because of Skylanders, or just saw my channel out of anything and been enjoying this content. And I want to say thank you. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have this fire in me to entertain all of you if it wasn't for your support. And I've been wanting to say thank you so much for that. And lastly, my own fucking personal life has been so weird in this year and a half. I mean, I've had highs and lows in relationships, highs and lows in my own finances, college. I finished college. Oh, it's so weird doing this. I mean, so much has happened in this year and a half. And the crazy part about all of this is I can like correlate a high and a low to a Skylander game that I was playing. And I don't know if that's normal. I don't think it should be normal. And to the people that are probably wondering, you know, is this the end of Skylander content? And I'm just gonna wave my little cowboy hat and ride off into the distance, you know, toodaloo! No. I still have many ideas for the Skylander series. I mean, there's tier lists, shorts, the 3DS games. I mean, there's a whole line of them right there. And I know about them. I just need to take some time because I don't have the right hardwares to make it happen. So I know it will happen one of these days though. And also I've been building a catalog of other games, and those are going to be journeys in themselves that I hope you will join along for the ride, because I am excited to finally tackle some different content now. So with all that being said, I hope it might not be too cheesy. Thank you guys still for all the support. Thank you for all the comments, the love, the hate, and just overall thank you for watching. And I will give you a hint. Our next review is going to be a doozy, because we're not done with Toys for Life. Because there is one more series of games that tickled my fancy throughout these Skylanders reviews. And I'll tell you this, it's a special tool that we'll be using, and it rhymes with the fucking rat.